Hi guys, and welcome back to Pass Move. And for today's episode, the game against Setubal, of course, as promised. We'll be playing it today in the very last, I was going to say first, but it's actually the last game in January, of course, in the January transfer window, as you can tell. Not too bad, but of course we have a lot to update you on, so let's start off first with the schedule and what happened in the past 4 games. So, as you can tell, really not good. We showed you that game against Firenze in the Premier Liga, or Premier League, Portuguese Premier League, of course. But what followed was unfortunately a reverse of that fixture, where we did lose 2-0 to Aruca. Rafa managing to score twice for his team in the 50th minute and the 90th minute as well, just to completely destroy my team's hopes. It was away from home, but still not an excuse. Against Setubal in the Taça de Portugal 6th round, we did manage to win, scrape by with penalties. Obviously not too pleasing that, but we did manage to win in the end, and that's all that matters, and we did get into the semi-final. Against Tondela, 2-2 was what ended was the end of the result, basically. So Raniel managed to open the scoring for our team. After Bruno Monteiro scored for Tondela. We were at home, so of course expectations are always higher, and Santos managed to get the winner, what we thought was the winner in the 84th minute, but Amoa managed to equalise his team in the very last few minutes of the game, 91st minute. I mean, injury time kind of tells it as it is, so kind of unfortunate to draw that, but we have to deal sometimes that, you know, the same way we're going to be doing that to some teams are going to be doing that to us too. So what followed was probably an equally disappointing result. So we did lose to Porto. Hassan on the score sheet in the 27th minute after Andres Silva opened the scoring for them. But it was the same man who punished us in the 55th minute. Porto, of course, just to show you, I'm not really sure how to show you actually. I think we showed you in the last episode though the past meetings, and I think we've only beaten them once out of 4 or 5 games now, and so, you know, they're proving to be way ahead of us in terms of finances, in terms of how they perform consistently in the league, and, you know, just overall doing really well. They haven't been out of the Champions League spots in ages. That looks to be about 2 decades now, and so they can definitely benefit from that money as well. And as you can see, they had a period of dominance here, and it looks like they're just about to begin another period of dominance there. Well, here right now, basically in the second season as well, they're doing quite well. So to show you the league and how it looks, because we are playing, of course, a league game today. Benfica are leading on 44 points, but Porto are right with them there in 44 points as well. Maybe Benfica beat Porto, which is why they're ahead of them. If the results were equal, then it does come down to goal difference. And yeah, we're 5 points away from them. Sporting are 3 points away from us. So we kind of are safe in the Champions League spot, of course. In the very last Champions League spot, actually, I think that only gets us qualification stage, not even the group. Let me see. Okay, team in 3rd place qualifies for European Champions Cup, best place 3rd qualifying phase. Yep. I think... What does that mean? Alright, so there we have that game in the playoff, and I think that would mean we get into best place, that game here, and then finally the group stages. So you can tell about 5 games before we actually get into the group stages and make some decent money. But of course, you never know what can actually happen. But anyways, so that's what the table looks like. Goimeras, our rivals, are actually trying to get into the Europa League spots in Tondela, despite their good performance against us, where they managed to draw. It looks like they've kind of dropped out of the Europa League rankings, or spots really, and that leaves us with the team that we're going to face today. So we do face Setubal, who are in relegation. Why do they cause us so much trouble all the time when we play them? Can we see past meetings? Yep, there you go. Alright, so we lost the first 2, drew, 1, drew, and then 1. So very inconsistent performances against Setubal. And we'll talk more about the team and how they performed in detail throughout the game as we play against Setubal. Hopefully a better result today. Of course, we did win last time, but I'm hoping to win a bit more comfortably. We'll talk about new signings and like that afterwards as well, after the game. But first off, we do have to face the team. So 4-3-3 as usual for us, and we should be the favourites for today's game, performing much better than them in the league. So of course, you know, we should get a quite comfortable result. When teams play in cup competitions, they are a bit different. It doesn't matter how you're performing. They are playing with a bit more defensive formation in a 4-1-4-1. Didn't tell you guys about my lineup. So yeah, Hassan, Martins and Santos, straightforward. I think it's pretty much just full strength team at the moment, other than Antonov playing instead of Wankar, who is suspended for today's game. Marafona is our first choice. Paulino's not a first choice either, but of course we're still missing Marcelo, who's injured for quite some time now. But yeah, morale's not too good, and we can explain that a little bit more as the game goes on. But I think we are favourites, and we need to try and motivate my team as much as possible. Alright, so yeah, we didn't really have the money to invest in a left winger, unfortunately. We did let go of Eduardo, of course, who was asking to leave, and so because we were forced into letting him go, we did get some decent money from him, but unfortunately we just, you know, there's no one we can seriously invest in. Everyone's too expensive, no one of any serious quality. So what we had to do is just get a decent backup to Fabio. So Fabio is actually going to be our first choice winger, so if, you know, for now. Hopefully he does, of course, up his game. He's dropped his concern of lack of game time as well, so it's good to see he's happy at the club now. So it's just a matter of him putting in some decent performances now, because we got a decent option as a rotation option. They're both good players for the Premier League, Portuguese Premier League, and so it'll be interesting to see them compete with each other, having been so close in terms of ability. In the Ruka game, of course, we already mentioned it briefly, but yeah, it's kind of a typical story where we're not finishing our chances. We conceded from a set piece. Danilo had the penalty saved, and I think it's just, you know, this poor form that we've seen lately. Not a bad shot from Danilo. It's just because the players are unsettled. They're not happy. We don't have a steady team. You know, some people are always asking to leave. We're bringing in too many signings. I like to have about 3 signings every summer, and that way you're keeping the team fresh and everything's good to go. You know, still maintaining team cohesion and whatnot. And you can bed in new signings quite easily. But for example, this season we had to straight away from the get-go rely on Renel to be our top goal scorer. I mean, he is for the club, but actually he's underperformed in quite a number of games. So yeah, it kind of cost us. So both the goals that they scored were actually set pieces, not just the one. Danilo had his worst game ever in a shirt so far with a 6.0. I don't think he's ever performed inconsistently like that. But yeah, thank God for the 5-point gap we had on Sporting. Of course, that's down now. But yeah, you know, if we didn't have that, then who knows where we would have been after that loss. You know, Benfica drew and Sporting lost, so that loss against Ruka wasn't as bad as it could have been. In terms of transfers, we finally sold Souza, that striker that the club bought in before me, and you know, we couldn't sell him this summer because we literally just signed him, so we managed to sell him in winter, and we accepted a bid for Jeff as well, who's also moved on, you know, because he was another player who's unsettled. Despite me signing him, you know, telling him that he's a rotational player, he doesn't seem to be too happy about his game time, and we just had to move him on with Danilo being our first choice. No point in actually doing, you know, trying to tell Jeff that he actually will get some game time, because he really won't. Setubal, well, not as much as he wants anyways. He's expecting first teamer game time, and he's really not a first teamer. Anyways, against Setubal, you know, the team we're playing today, again we missed some chances. It went into extra time and into penalties, and it was just amazing to see Moreira, our backup goalkeeper, perform so well. He saved a penalty, and I think he saved 2 penalties actually, and that kind of won us that penalty shootout in the game, of course, to send us into semi-final. And you know, every competition is a bit more money. Obviously it's not a crazy amount of money, but it was some decent money. Paulino's really out of his position as a right back there. Are they going to punish us here? Can we win it back? Straight away, you see how he moves? This player moved right into our right back spot, because that's where we were missing a player. We've got 3 there instead, and Danilo does really well to switch the play. Fabio, what can you do? Plays it safe to Antonov, our loanee. Hopefully we see a nice little goal here, but anyways, in our favour. Porto in the Taça de Portugal semi-final. He's having just stupid long-range shots. They are actually, you know, we drew them in the Taça de Portugal, sorry, and they're really standing on our way in 2 cups. So you saw what happened in one of the cups in the semi-final, and it looks like it's kind of just head-to-head with Porto. We can hopefully get our revenge later on. Yes, he shoots from distance, shoots with power, runs the ball often. So these are kind of bad traits to have, but considering his long shots, it's not too awful. Also, he scored some long range screamers for us before, so I can't complain when it works and then complain when it doesn't. Against Tondela, we did miss basic chances again. It's not even a fact of missing bad chances. I think we've had a relatively good game. My players are a bit upset as well, so I don't want to... Let's see if we can motivate them. I don't want to just tell them off for no reason when we've dominated, absolutely. Yeah, but missing basic chances, just, you know, for example, being right in front of the goalkeeper after winning a set piece header and not being able to tuck it away, that kind of thing. And yeah, they managed to score from a stupid last second goal, very naive defensively, and just conceding goals that, you know, just make your blood boil as a manager, really. But yeah, just continuing our bad form. We were still in third, and we still are now as well, but the title really is running away from us, with the teams above us being in 5 points ahead. And of course, we're really starting to close down on you know, last few games in the Premier Liga. And yeah, against Porto, we already mentioned how dangerous Silva was. But just to show you how dangerous he was, maybe I'll show you the goal after, but he did chip our goalkeeper, and that was of course despite our dominance, where we had about triple their shots, just like in almost every game. Even today's game, we dominate a lot with the shots, but we just don't, you know, convert too much, and that's our problem. And hopefully next season we can you know, sort that out, especially maybe I'm thinking about moving Hassan on just because he's not performing as well as he could. This is the second season and Raniel's already, you know, top goal scorer. He's had time to recover since his injury to actually make up the goals difference, but I don't think he's been good enough really. And yeah, the new signings, like I mentioned, we'll be talking about them later, so I think we can focus on the game a little bit now and try and save some type of result here. Bring on our backup advanced playmaker. Roy Fonte is tired, and hopefully Bruno can do something spectacular. He was really in good form off the bench when he did come off in the last game, but unfortunately he couldn't actually get on the score sheet. I think it would have been his first goal for the club. It would have been really good to see him score that. But anyways, Setubal will have the ball here. And are they going to prove dangerous once more? They're going to hold us to a draw in the Premier League as well. We really need to convert our draws into wins at this point, but it is Setubal with the ball, and they are looking relatively dangerous. Can we win it back here? Or no, just watch them play around us, that's fine too. They've edged possession a little bit, to be fair to them. They're playing a safer option than R4-3. It's a very similar formation, of course, just a safer one in the 4-1-4-1. And as you can see here, they're playing defensive too, so it's going to take something special to break them down. And are we going to see something special here from Santos? Oh, it takes his man on, not a long range shot, please. But of course that's what he's going to do. Oh, he actually gets all the way almost into the box and takes a shot. It's quite a tame shot and a bit too easy for the goalkeeper for my liking. Alright, so we'll make the last change, take off Fabio Martins for his backup Rosa, and you guys will get to see the new signing in action. So we'll talk about him more and how much we spent on him and all that business in just a sec after this game really. But let's see if he can do anything of note here. We're going to push up into an overload and hopefully make it count. But look at that, 31 shots to their 3 and 9 on target, and we haven't managed to score a single goal. And that's just quite telling about how poor our form is. Ooh, there's a highlight 6 minutes away from the full-time whistle. Is it going to be ours or is it going to be theirs? Fernandez with the ball. Raniel. Are you going to pressure them into a mistake? Kind of did, I suppose. We won that quite well. And our advanced playmaker Jordao or Bruno. Ooh, not a bad through ball to Santos. And Paulino's got a chance. Oh, not a bad ball either. Raniel. Oh, he's hit the post. Or crossbar, actually. My players are not finishing their chances. I mean, to kind of put things in perspective for you, Setubal have had 3 shots and already 1 half chance. So we've had 33. So literally 10 times their shots and not a single half chance or clear-cut chance. And there's some serious issues going on here. Ooh, kind of dangerous again. Danilo, is he going to make amends? Oh, what a stupid shot. How can he... Alright, never mind. I'm not even going to say anything. Come on, please, one more highlight in our favour. Can't afford to draw. Well, we kind of can, but we don't want to if we want to. It really looks like we're going to have to settle with fighting Sporting for the Champions League spot again. rather than title. I was hoping we can maybe win this game, put some pressure on Benfica and Porto, but really running out of time to actually, perform well and put some serious pressure on them, because they're just miles ahead. I think we're much closer to Sporting than we are to Porto and Benfica in terms of ability, quality, finances. We're much closer to Sporting, so it looks like we're gonna have to keep edging out Sporting every now and then. Obviously, last season we missed out by a single point. But this season as well, we need to try and make that point in our favour, and if we qualify for Champions League in the 3rd place, then we can do some serious damage to Sporting, who can maybe lose out on some future stars or some some current stars as well, players with potential, even players with ability. So everyone's played their game, and Sporting have cut the gap to 1 point, and there's about 14 games to go of the Premier Liga, but yeah, we are 7 points away from top. Porto, I think. Did Benfica draw? Did they draw? Who did Sporting beat? Porto beat they beat the team that we lost to. Well, anyways, yeah, we're gonna have to battle it out with Sporting for the Champions League, and if we do that consistently enough, we can really downgrade Sporting into a sort of Europa League team, and maybe even below that. More likely a Europa League team. There's a bit of a gap in the Portuguese Premier Liga, really, and yeah, if we do that enough, then they kind of become the team that we are currently, and we become them. And if we can keep doing, qualifying for Champions League and hopefully getting further than Sporting ever did, then that would mean that we can actually convert that money into some serious investment in our team, and get some more, just keep climbing up the table. Really, it's going to be a bit of a slow process. I was hoping last season to qualify for Champions League. That really would have helped us this season, but yeah, we're just gonna have to settle for this. And as the team continuously changes, it's not doing us any good. I'm quite sure about half of this 11 players playing here you guys didn't see play last season. But anyways, in terms of the transfers, let's talk about new signings more in detail. So I literally just signed someone today before the game, and that's Carlos Gruezo. He's a replacement to Jeff, another Ecuadorian, 24 caps, 1 goal to his name. We signed him from FC Dallas. It says 4 million, but I actually think that's split in 2 halves, so 2 million now and 2 million over the next 48 months. He's only considered a good player, but of course, just like Jeff, he has more, I think even more than Jeff, he has an ability, or potential rather, to become a leading, maybe even a star player for Premier League sides, which would be great for us, because we need to really break that gap between having good players and leading players. But anyways, it's good that he's a current international, plenty of experience that helps us, determined squad, and he adds to that determination. His only weakness is inability to jump, and maybe his strength. So it's perfect. Otherwise, he's got some, I would argue he's got some more pros than Jeff, really. But yeah, he's a really good signing, and I don't think we overspent. The wages I'm a little bit unhappy about, but otherwise we wouldn't have anyone to replace Jeff, and that would make that would cause some serious issues. Sorry about that. Some serious issues in our team, of course, if we're lacking numbers in certain areas. We didn't have any under 19, so Braga B players, as you can see, I had it marked, midfielders and central, who can seriously become ball-winning midfielders for us in the future. So again, we just have to deal with what we've got and just sign him anyways. He's not the ultimate signing, but he can prove to be a more important signing than we recognize at the moment. And the other signing is, of course, the player that you saw earlier, Miguel Rosa, the inside forward left winger, Portuguese. He gets into opposition area, moves into channels, shoots with power, dwells on the ball, and cuts inside from left wing. So kind of suits us as a a possession-based team. He's on 3.7k wages, so not too much. He didn't cost us much at all either. 350k, as you can tell. And again, it's the same thing about 175 up front and 175 over a 48-month period. So again, it's this total you don't have to pay too much attention to. Obviously, we're still technically paying them that amount, but it's over such a long period that won't do any serious damage to us financially anyways. So yeah, there you go. We've got a bit of a weakness at the moment at left wing, which is why I was really upset to let Eduardo go, but maybe over the summer period we can replace it. But again, we do have to bear in mind that we will be missing some numbers, like in the left back spot and the centre back spots. We will actually have to sign players rather than loanees. We can't really rely on bringing in loanees all the time. We want our own players to seriously build a steady team that can have some good cohesion and hopefully go on and perform well. But yeah, we're in a bit of a hump lately, as you can tell, and hopefully we can bounce back from this. I actually have a team talk in front of you guys. Hopefully this goes well. Let's do that. Alright, mate, you just came here. How are you even talking? I'm just gonna say that. He can, you know, be upset by himself. But yeah, overall a good reaction. So just to show you the kind of instability. So Fran Sergio is the one who's asked to leave. And of course he's unhappy because of what's been going on. And, you know, I think he tried to... I don't even know how to say it. He tried to tell me how much to sell him for, so I just told him, you know what, you're not leaving at all, even though I'm still going to try and sell him, of course, because I don't want that type of player around. But he does affect other players' morale, and it splits up the team with players who are against against the teammate and players who are for. I think there was someone for. Yeah, there you go, support. So Fabio Martins is unhappy with me, and it's probably because he was a bit unhappy with his game time earlier. He is okay now. But he probably feels like I'm a bad manager because I mismanaged him as well as, you know, Fran Sergio. So that kind of just causes chaos in the ranks, and I don't like that at all. That's why I just sell the players straight away. But hopefully after this transfer window we can get that out of the way. It doesn't look like anyone really wants Fran Sergio, and you know, there's about literally it just closes tomorrow. I think the Portuguese Premier League actually closes today on the 31st, and so, you know, not enough time to bring anyone on, so I might just have to hold on Fran Sergio, and he's just going to have to deal with being unhappy until summer's time. But yeah, hopefully we can recover from that, and in terms of when we will be back, it will be, of course, 5 games time as always, so it is, I think, as we predicted, the Leicester second knockout round Europa League game. Hopefully we can go into the second knockout round, and maybe even further this year. But we'll see and take things one step at a time. So huge game against Porto here in the Premier Liga. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 just to be short. Yeah, so it is 5 games. We have 3 Premier League games in between the time from now next episode, and we have the 1 Europa League game. So huge games. The Taça de Portugal semi-finals. There's 2 legs against Porto. Hopefully maybe we can show you that as well. But yeah, just very interesting fixtures coming up. It's really turning into crunch time. We play Porto here in the Premier Liga, we play Benfica here, and more importantly, Sporting very close towards the end of the Premier Liga. But yeah, I think that will be all for today's episode. So if you did enjoy it, then please do hit the like button and subscribe for more daily football manager 2017. And as always, thank you guys for watching.